Parents who knock on their kids' doors and then immediately open it anyway. What's your thought process? This thread reminds me why I moved into a 5th floor apartment with no elevator. My mother hates taking a lot of stairs. Medical problem, and she would be in my apartment every day if it weren't for the stairs. I love my mother, but she has zero sense for privacy. Walked in on my kid jerking off once. Never again. To his credit, he took it like a champ. Dude, you're supposed to knock. I had a bed platform for a while, and it got very squeaky. I was cleaning one day, reaching to my left, tossing on my right, the whole time squeaking the bed. My mom didn't knock and immediately open. She straight up bust through the door as quick as she could, having approached it with stealth, whereas any other time she would drag her feet through the hall like a sloth. What it did accomplish is it almost gave me a heart attack. I jumped nearly half a foot. It was that abrupt. Needless to say, I haven't been able to stop wondering what my mother was hoping to see. I can't even look at her without thinking she's some kind of a creep. You hear your son's bed squeaking, so you sneak up and bust through the door. Why? My son's doctor told me to start knocking on my son's door and waiting until he responds coming at his 10-year-old checkup. I hadn't really thought of it before, but I made sure to do just that. Only time I come in is if I've knocked multiple times and I figure he is asleep. He will fall asleep with his glasses and TV on, so I come in to take care of that. I have a bolt lock on the inside of my door for this sort of situation. After I'd be getting dressed as a teen and people would just wander in despite me putting a do not disturb sign on the door. I always assumed the knock meant, put your dick away, I'm coming in. And as a former teenager, I was always ready to put my dick away at the slightest threatening noise. I had to move back in with my folks after splitting from my wife. My mom tried to pull that shit on me, but I was smart and the door was always locked. So instead I would get the doors locked. Yeah, no shit. Why are you trying to barge in here? I could be naked with a hairbrush up my butt for all you know. My mom barged in once while I was jerking off, and it was to me tell my friend died. Very modern family thing here. My parents never knock, so I usually lock it so they can't open and catch me doing something wrong. But that habit of never knocking kind of instilled in my brain, so I never knocked as a kid either. Saw some crap when I walked into brother's room once. Also know that every time my parents do lock the door, they're doing the deed. Therefore, teach kids to knock and wait until you open. Do the same for them. Don't waltz in. Don't barge in. Because they'll do that to you too. Learn from me. Edit. Thank you kind stranger for the silver. It's my very first. Bonus points for just saying knock. Knock at the same moment as opening the door. My mom did, and still does, that when I go back home to visit once a year. I'm 30 BTW. Tock tock tock, can I come in? Opens the door. Sometimes I'll open my eyes to her grabbing empty water bottles out of my room. Oh sorry, I thought you were sleeping. Yes Pauline, I was sleeping until you decided to come in at 7 AM on my vacation time for no reason. The worst is that my grandma is nothing like that. Only her. No respect for privacy or sleep. You have 2 seconds to put your dick away and close that incognito window. I'm in my 30s. My mom lets me know she decided to come over by pressing her face up to the windows. Sometimes from the backyard. Knocking. Parents knock. My mom took away my doorknob because I shut the door to change my insulin pump while she was yelling at me for not having my college apps done 2 months early. One day, they are gonna find why we are always staring at our wallpaper. Oh boy, I can't wait to leave the room without closing the door on my way out. Ugh, my mom used to do that if she knocked at all. So, at my house with my kid, I knock. I'll let the kid know what I'm doing. Hey / kid, I have laundry for you. Or hey / kid, I need to talk to you. Then I wait for an okay. Only then do I open the door. If by chance I get a not right now, mom, I say, I'll be back in exactly 3 minutes. And that's what happens. I can't imagine. My parents would knock on the door and wouldn't come in until I opened the door for them. Really helped feel like I had some personal space in a very crowded house. Also, why do they leave the door a little bit open when they finally leave? Why? My mother walked in on me using an electric bikini trimmer once. I had one leg propped up on the edge of the tub and was leaning back against the wall with my pelvis tilted upwards. So here I'm taming the wild bush, and boom, my mother throws open the door and then acts shocked at what I'm doing. She then later told me that any man that wanted a woman with shaved pubic hair was a pedophile. BC only children do not have pubic hair. I was like, WTF ma. I shave because the hair itches me and I don't like it. Edited to add this, just because my mother said a few crazy comments in her life doesn't mean she was a bad person. I'm sure everybody has said at least a few crazy things in their lives. Please chill everybody, it's just a funny story that happened 15 years ago. Can't we all just laugh at my teenage self getting caught shaving my groin? It's not this serious.